As more studies show emotional intelligence improves employee productivity and job performance, it becomes a more coveted skill in the office and one that every serious professional needs to develop. So, first things first, let us quickly recap on what is emotional intelligence. A quick definition is that emotional intelligence is when you can understand the emotions of yourself and others and manage your own feelings well. It shows a balance between intelligence and self awareness. I go into great depth in this in one of my blog posts on emotional intelligence and being able to apply an authentic kind of empathy. But in a nutshell, these are the four categories where your emotional intelligence will be assessed. So let's just quickly go through this before we get into the tips. The first one is self management, where you're able to think clearly in situations where you feel stressed, anxious, or angry. And self management indicates being able to separate yourself and how you should act from your emotions. In other words, for example, even if you're really irritated by a coworker, you somehow manage to counter ten if necessary, and you give a calm response rather than screaming and shouting, even if that is what you want to do. Self awareness. This is going to help you to change negative habits, thoughts, or behavior. And when you have a high level of self awareness, you can recognize how your beliefs and emotions affect your thoughts and behavior. Then we have social awareness. Now, this one way of looking at it is your ability to read the room. You can understand what others need to feel comfortable, as well as see social dynamics at play. And awareness indicates how well you pick up on the social cues or needs. Uh, One way of looking at it is like when you walk into the room, can you pick up the ambiance over there? Is it stressed? Is it tensed? Many people say that that is having empathy or even psychic abilities at some point. But the thing is that you are aware enough to understand what's going on, even if nothing is being said. And then there's relationship management, where you manage conflict well, you work well with others, and you develop positive relationships overall. And the best part is that relational management indicates good interpersonal skills, and that is something that you really do need if you wish to climb the corporate ladder. So before we get into the tips, let us also look at some of the evidence about how emotional management is affecting productivity. There is a thesis paper called The Effects of Emotional Intelligence on Productivity, and I'll share a link to see the study later. But the essentials of that study were that emotional intelligence is becoming an essential area of study to determine a person's potential for overall success as well as success in the workplace. And it also pointed out that although non cognitive skills are not always a factor that leaders use in determining workplace efficiency, but those skills can impact productivity. Now, this was a study done, it was a single case study in order to explore the impact of these non cognitive skills and the perception administrators and employees have regarding skills that are critical to their job and work performance. The conceptual framework that was used was that of emotional intelligence theory, authored by Daniel Goleman in 1995, which studied personality qualities. Now, the focus of this study comprised of six skills: there's communication, self confidence, teamwork, work ethics, problem solving ability, and leadership. And several patterns and themes emerged relating to the effects of those emotional intelligence on job performance and productivity. In fact, the findings of this study can impact future non cognitive skills in the work environment and could positively impact social change. And organizational leaders could use the results to develop strategies that would enhance their decision making process and develop tools to promote employee production and productivity. From there was another study done by the University of Valencia in Spain, which demonstrated that increased team cohesion happens when there's emotional intelligence amongst the participants, because there's a synergy effect, and this produces enhanced team task performance and has a positive effect on the motivational processes within the team, thus leading to more team engagement. In other words, a team can do better than is expected. It also improves co-worker relationships. Now, there's another study which was done in 2020 which focused on the role of emotional regulation in exchanges between co-workers. And there, of course, the deep actors refer to employees who are driven to regulate their emotions with co-workers for pro-social reasons. And the employees who are able to do that actually have the ability to build strong relationships with their co-workers. And that, in effect, has demonstrates benefits in productivity. So the conclusions that I'd like to quickly sum up from these studies is that firstly, emotional intelligence is an asset. The studies have shown emotional intelligence training improved employee productivity, and the people who are emotionally intelligent can come up with solutions from a holistic perspective. So now, are you interested in improving your emotional intelligence so that you can excel at work? Good, because here are my tips. The first one is practice self awareness. And here are four ideas that you can use. You could do reflections in journals. You can also notice when you react to something on autopilot. Think about the feedback you receive and practice seeing things from other people's point of view too, not just your own. Following from the self awareness, learn to receive criticism with grace and use criticism as an opportunity to learn and grow. You should also likewise see conflict as an opportunity to learn and understand more about others, because conflict is going to happen whether you like it or not. Whenever you have two people, there will be many times differences of opinion, and it all comes down to who is able to handle it better and stay in control. And then, of course, learning to read the room. Now, here's some tips for you. How well do you pick up on the feelings of people around you? It's the same thing I said when you walk into a room. Can you pick up the sense of what's going on? And from there, do you know who to go to when you need a solution? And what unwritten rules do people follow at your workplace? And being able to read a room positions you as a change maker. So it's in your interest to start observing people and also assessing how they react so that you can come across better. And then learn to listen to others. Don't do all the talking yourself. Make space for others as well. And in meetings, many times people think that, oh, if they hog all the talk time, they're going to come across as, being very intelligent. That's not right, quite true. You should try to listen in meetings and make an effort to ask people what they think. That is what emotional intelligence is about. You also care about others. But that, of course, doesn't mean that you don't speak up and express yourself. Do not be afraid to pitch your out of the box ideas or make sure that your opinions get heard. We're not saying just listen and keep quiet. We're saying listen and also speak up and work to people's strengths. Now, you will have lots of people with different strengths and different kinds of talents. They may also have shortcomings, so you have to learn to be flexible to the different types of people who make up your team and to position yourself as a really good candidate for a further leadership role. Learn to create an environment for each person to thrive, be engaged, and innovative. Because in today's modern times, a leader is as good as his people are. And the first step, of course, is self awareness. And I've got a simple self study bundle where there's an ebook with developing your self awareness as guide, as well as the workbook where you can note down your findings. And I encourage you to download it. So, my final words on the topic are that people with higher emotional intelligence have an easier time managing their stress levels, building better relationships, and reading the room. And progress in managing your own stress levels means that you can calmly lead a team through high stress situations. That's what influential leaders do. When you build better relationships, it can help you to keep your team members engaged and motivated. And when they're motivated, they work better, they're more productive. And being able to read the room means that you know the right person to approach when you're tackling a problem, or you learn to take action when you notice that a colleague is feeling stressed. You know exactly when to step in before things spiral out of control. So, I suggest that you try these suggestions for size and then let me know. And as a parting question, wouldn't life be great with effortless stress management, better relationships, and being able to read the room? Especially if it helps you to improve your productivity as well as that of others in your workplace?